Hi everybody. First of all, I'd like to congratulate everybody because you are going to graduate soon. Before you graduate, as a teacher, we would like to give you a final tips for you about the interviewing. As you all know, we experienced the problem of pandemic for the COVID-19. If you are going to have the interview, in the past, we experienced about face-to-face interview. Right now, many companies try to apply the online interview. So today we are going to give you some tips for preparation for the online interview. First of all, I would like to give you the first tip is that check your sounds, video, and internet. Everybody, if you are going to have the online interview, you need to have a very good quality of equipment to make yourself more professional. The first one is check your video, your sound, and the internet connection. Why the three things are very important? Because if you have a slow internet connection, your interview will be a problem. Also, the sound system. If you have a very low quality of the microphone, your sounds will look less professional because the quality of the sound makes the interviewer hear you clearly. And also the video. If you have a very low quality of video, right? You have maybe having like, HD, full HD. The full HD is recommended. Make it, having a high definition in order to let the interviewer see your face clearly. Your not only face, right? It will be your appearance as well. This is the first thing about check your sounds, video, and internet. Everything's supposed to be prepared in advance. You can try to check with your friends to see whether everything is okay or not. Second tip is you have to make sure your backdrop is neutral and no distractions. So you can set the room for the interview with a white wall or the clear wall, without having the distraction like the picture frames or any other things, which is not very good, right? So you can check this, the position of the room and a camera is supposed to be very correct positions, right? And you have to make sure that when you place the mobile phone on the table, you have to make it silent. It won't be interrupted along the way of the interview. And now, let's move on to the third tips. The third tips talking about keep your lighting bright. What does it mean? You may set up the scene with the full of light. Don't make everything so dark. Check the ceiling light as well. If you have a lot of ceiling light, your face look darker because of the, your hair or anything that can come from the top, right? And you can place a lot of light in front of you or next to the camera and then point to your face, and the face will be lighter and it will be appropriate for the situations that you are going to interview, right? The last one, right, is about position your camera at the eye level. As you can see from now, I try to set up the camera into my eyes level so I don't have to look down or look up. It won't be good for your appearance. Okay, check everything. And if you use your mobile phone or laptop, you may use the book to make a pie and then check the angle of the camera. That is the point that you can do. Don't put the camera or the laptop or the mobile devices on the pillow because it can be falling down, right? Okay, so now I would like you to see the infographic here. It's talked about the tips for you to prepare for the interview, right? There are 8 tips you can see from this. And now it's time for me to hand over the floor to the other teachers who are going to talk to you about how to handle the difficult questions, right, from several types. Welcome, Ajahn Napatacha and Ajahn Chachawan. Welcome.
Welcome for the second part, of this video. So me, Ajahn Wood.
And me, Ajahn Om.
Okay, so both of us, will share with you about the detail or informations of the tips and technique and the strategy, how to handle several types of interview questions, okay? I will start, with the basic, interview question, but it can be one of the critical questions as well. Okay, very simple. Okay, I will start with, could you please tell me about yourself? Okay, when the interviewer asks this question to the interviewee, so the interviewer not expect like the interviewee will share every single detail of the life story and spend like 15 or 20 minutes but the interviewee need to go to the right point after introduce him or herself, and then they have to mention some information about their passion, their strengths, or their ambition that relevant to the job that they are applying for, right? Okay, so according to the question like, could you please tell me about yourself? Okay, I will give you example. I will be interviewer, and then Ajahn Om will be interviewee, right? Okay, I will start right now. Okay, Ajahn Om, could you please tell me about yourself?
Good morning. Thank you very much for your invitation for the online job interview. The first question, please let me introduce myself. My name is Naparacha Sivichai. I come from Chiang Mai. I graduated from MFU University, Bachelor of Arts in English. I love to serve people, and I had an internship at Bangkok Airways for 3 months, and that's why I'm passionate about being a flight attendant.
All right, so thank you very much for your answer. So based on your observation, you will notice like Ajahn Om mentioned, some informations or detail about her past internship experience, right? That is like relevant to the job, positions as a flight attendant that she applying for, right? You see, like apart from introducing yourself, right? Like introduce yourself, your name, or how old are you, where are you from, for example, like you talk a little bit, about your educational qualification, and also you have to tell something about your strengths, right? It can be your passion, your ambition, and also your part-time job experience. So you can share, and answer this kind of questions, right? And so the next questions, I think we move to another critical question, right? We talk about weakness, okay? It sounds easy, of course, right? But why at the same time it's challenging as well, okay? When we talk about weakness, right? It's not easy to talk about the weakness and how we can answer this kind of questions, right? Because weakness is like we need to talk negative point, and then we have to turn the negative point into the positive, right? To be the positive, all right? So I will start, with the this kind of question, and again, I will be interviewer and Ajahn Om will be interviewee, right? Of course, right? Okay, I will start now. Okay, Ajahn Om, could you please tell me what is your weakness?
My weakness is I used to be disorganized. That's my weakness. Especially when I had an internship at Bangkok Airways. I ruined the meeting. So I adjusted myself by prioritizing my work. The most important task comes first, okay, secondly, and lastly. So I complete all the tasks in time to meet the deadline. And you know what? I can finish it 2 weeks ahead of the deadline. Because I prioritize and I set in my schedule, especially for I apply some of technology to set my Google schedule with my teamwork. I actively cooperate with my teamwork to set the deadline and share the roles so we can meet the deadline and finish it 2 weeks earlier.
All right, so thank you very much, Ajahn Om, for your answers, right? And then so as you noticed, from Ajahn Om answers, right? And she mentioned some negative point of view, right? Because it's about weakness, right? Okay, she start, to answer like, I used to be disorganized person, this can be one technique that you can use or adopt, for your interview questions, right? Okay, you will see like, okay, Ajahn Om start with like, I used to be. So that means like something happened in the past, not at the moment, not present time, right? And then also the challenging one that you have to turn, the negative point of view to be positive, right? So Ajahn Om, share the idea that how she can fix it or how she can solve that kind of, weakness or the negative point, okay? Right? So We come to the next question. Okay, the last question. I think what we call competency-based question, right? So the terms or the words competency is mean like the ability to cope with some kind of problem. Okay. All right. So we have to start with like like the characteristic of these questions. Of course, right? The people, I mean like interviewer, when they have to answer this kind of question, they have to use some kind of specific techniques, right? What we call that kind of technique, Ajahn Om?
Because this kind of question is quite difficult because it's competency based, so it demands lots of problem solving skills. That's why this kind of question will ask you the situation. So this technique we call STAR technique. Okay, STAR. Okay, S stands for situation. You got to provide the context of your situation or the scene. Okay, next, T stands for target or the task. You got to tell the objectives, okay, the goals of your situation. Next is A. A stands for action. Okay, action means what did you do, okay, to solve the problem and make it relevant to the objective. Okay, the last one, R. R stands for result. Okay, the achievement. How can you achieve it? All right, the result. It could be the prize or the completion of your task. All right. Next, let's try. May I ask Ajahn Wood to provide some of the situation for our audiences? Okay, please let me ask about the first one. Situation. Can you share some of your experiences about this situation? How can you solve the problem? Please.
Okay, so I would like to share, some my past working experience, right? At that time, I used to be hotel receptionist and working in a hotel in Patong Beach, in Phuket province. So at that time, I was a receptionist and working in the reception desk, right? And so two hotel guests, come to check in. So like a couple came to check in at the hotels, right? And then their room type was bungalow, right? But at that time, I would say like the bungalows was fully booked as well, by other guests, right? Okay, some kind of problems from the reservation departments, right? And another bungalow type was under constructions, right? And was maintenance, like it need to be fixed, by technician in terms of the facility or the equipment inside the rooms, right? So it was not available. And then so once I informed, the guests that okay, their room type, was not available, at this time. So they started to shout and yell at me.
Oh my
and then
God.
it's like they were very angry.
Did they mad at you?
Yes, of course, right? That is like like terrible situation that I have had in my working experience at that time, at the hotel receptionist.
I'm sorry to hear that. All right. Next, can you tell us about the target or the task, the objective of this situation?
Okay, so in terms of the target or the task or the objective, something that can come up, in my mind that, as a hotel receptionist and I've encountered this kind of, difficulty situation, right? And first thing I think about, okay, how can I lessen or reduce, this satisfaction of the guests, right? What I should do about this, So I might, inform them and try to calm them down first, and then try to figure out, how can I make them satisfied. Okay.
All right. Next, how about action? A stands for action. What did you do, to calm them down and make them happy?
Okay. So what did I do at that time? How I perform, the actions, right? I start to calm them down first, right? And talk with them with the reason and try to explain like the reason or information why we cannot provide this room type, I mean the bungalow for them, right? And then so I decided to upgrade the room type for them, what we call ocean view.
Wow,
Ocean view type.
ocean view?
Yes.
Oh my
Okay.
God,
And
beautiful.
yeah, very beautiful, right? And then it's like I also call my manager, what we call front office manager, right? And talk and then propose the idea like how we can make them satisfied, right? So I recommend like okay, how about if we can provide like the free Wi-Fi, the internet connections for them in the rooms, and also like free dinner, for one night for them.
dinner?
Yes, yeah, and also like my office manager, I mean front office manager, like agree with me, right? And then he's around me to do that. Okay, yeah.
All right, so you can see here's the way that he compensates with the customers. Okay,
Yeah.
the last one, the result. What was the result? Are they happy with it?
Yes, of course. Like they were very happy, definitely. And then it's like they like stop, to complain, and then it's like they use the polite word with us, and then of course they're very very polite. I saw the smile on their face. That is the way that I overcome or fix the problem. Yeah.
All right. Okay, you can see that the result, and I have heard that you keep it secret. I know that you won the first prize of the staff, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Now we have we have reached the last part of our session today. Please let me recap, okay, the techniques that very important for today. STAR technique, okay? S stands for situation. T stands for target or task or objective or your situation. A stands for action. What did you do? And the last one, result, okay, your achievement or your accomplishment. We too hope that you can apply some of techniques that we have shared today when you have an online job interview. And we hope that you can get the dream job that you like to do in the future. Okay? Thank you very much for you joining. Good luck and see you next video.
All right. Good luck. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
And now I would like to thank you, Ajahn Napatacha and Ajahn Chatwan, for giving a very good explanation and examples about how to deal with the difficult questions and how to apply the STAR model for you to answer the question with a very meaningful answers. And everybody, a job interview is not a test of your knowledge, but your ability to use it at the right time. Thank you, everybody.